What I said is it would cause a recession. And I've said it repeatedly on my show for the last month.
I've heard it. I've heard you say it many times.
Guess what? In the last 2 days, we're talking Goldman Sachs. We're talking about all the major banks are saying they now see a recession happening either the middle of 2019 or no later than the end of 2019. And it's all brought on from the main reason it's being brought on is because of the tariffs. Come on, okay? What are we trying to prove here? Okay, are we gonna? Something is strange here. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but something is strange going on. Why would you risk? Somebody wanted to be president, which he really didn't want to. He wanted to do it to well, I don't know why, but he didn't even, when he found out he was president, he was shocked. But the standpoint, why would you risk wiping out and imploding our economy over something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We were losing jobs and all this stuff because of the Chinese, doing their thing, right? But our economy was doing good. Now our economy is starting to slow down. They see it right now. Housing sales are cooled off. People aren't spending so much. We'll find out this Christmas what's going on by how much money people are spending for Christmas. That'll tell us really fast where our economy is heading. But I am really scared if we don't get this tariffs lifted or worked out with China shortly, and I'm talking before the first of the year, we are going to go past the point of no return. We're going to go into a deeper recession than we've ever been in, next to a depression. We're going to look at our last recession as, hey, it was not bad at all compared to what could happen. And, it scares me more than that is we could avoid this. Okay? I've talked to people who own businesses, and they're saying stuff right now that they can't get certain things anymore. That, okay, a friend of mine, owns a auto parts store. Now, do you know when you go in there and you want to buy a part for your car, I'm going to be honest with you, most of the car parts you buy, like your rotor, what your brake pads go on or disc pads go on, that most of those are made in China. So you could go out and get a rotor for your car, because if your rotor is warped, I'm just using this as an example. You go spend like $89, $99, $79, you get a new rotor. Okay, it's made in China. But, you could go buy it for that price. Well, now they're not that price anymore. And now if you want American-made one, you're going to pay hundreds of dollars. Now, the poor guy and people don't realize it. There's still a lot of people working in this country for minimum wage or near it. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. They are so screwed, because what I'm going to tell you next is the IRS don't even know yet, because they can't. They're trying to come up with policy. Our president gave you guys and us a tax cut. Basically, you got a little bit more money in your paycheck, each paycheck, right? Pay period. But what they didn't tell you at the start, right, is next year when you file your taxes on April 15th, because you weren't paying in enough money into your taxes, right? You might owe some money. Okay? Now you might owe only maybe a few bucks, or you might owe, depending on, because they're not going to allow you to have the exemptions anymore. So you could end up owing quite a bit of money. And
that's hurt.
And the IRS don't know right now if they're going to waive the penalties. But if you don't pay your taxes right, they can hit you to failure to, they can hit you with a couple different failures, okay? Failure to pay on time, failure to pay, you didn't estimate your taxes. So now all of a sudden you got an extra tax bill of $200 or $300 with penalties.
Yep.
And it's going to affect, how about the guys that's working for 13, 14, 15 bucks an hour? I know a lot of people that, they can't, they say there's a lot of jobs out there. Yeah, people are hiring. Go look at the jobs. They're being hired. Mm-hmm. You're working for crappy wages. So what's going to happen to these people now next year? Okay, now what are they going to have to do? Go get a payday loan? Oh, wow, gee, they go get a payday loan at what, a $300 loan? It's going to cost them $600 to pay back or more. I mean, this is what's going to happen. And all this is compounding what's going to happen in 2019. That's why Goldman Sachs said that, we're going to implode. We're going to go into recession. Okay?
It will implode if it goes down all them roads, I can tell you that.
Well, I don't understand the whole thought of this. I can see why he did it. But
it's like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Maybe you should have looked at some other ways to do things, maybe, but still get the same principle without all the fallout.
Well, he didn't have to maybe levy quite so heavy, but now, right? Him and the president of China were so friendly at the start. Now China is building up missiles on all those islands, setting up missiles. They actually have technology that basically they could wipe out our whole naval fleet. And we can't stop it because their missiles, whatever they're supersonic. They whatever I was reading about. Basically, is we if they decided they were going to take out our fleet in the South China Sea, they just we couldn't stop them. And
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
What we have done now is we created enemies. Okay.
Well, we give them motives.
Well, put it this way. People like you, right? When you're buying, and you're keeping their economy going, and they're advancing. Our economy is going good, but when you all of a sudden start doing what we did, now they're going to retaliate, and they're not happy with us anymore. So the little things like flying over the restricted islands, okay. Before, they kind of would turn their head. Now they're kind of making threats. They have carried out a little bit of their threats. Some of their threats is that they're setting up, basically saying that we can take out your whole entire fleet that's out there, and you can't do anything about it.
And you know what? A lot of those people were raised way different than us, and they don't have the kind of empathy that we have. So they're you're talking about the aliens, no empathy, and being raised different. A lot of those cultures are the same way in a lot of similar ways.
Well, put it this way. There's people in China that love us, okay? But the military-minded people, let's face it, they teach their women and their men from young age one thing, to hate us.
Yep.
Okay? That's instilled into them, okay? They look at we're not something that, and that's what I'm scared about. And you know what? Money has caused wars in the past. So now we're going into this where they're talking about we're going to go into recession in 2019. Okay, we got China. It doesn't like us anymore. And did you see in the news the last couple of days? They said if we actually got in war with China and Russia, that we couldn't win it.
Well, for one thing, if you got both those against us, that might be biting off more than you can chew. I don't even know how to respond to that.
They even said China. We could not win a war right now with China. We don't.
Well, for one thing, they've got 1 billion people compared to our 300 million, and they have no problem sending women and children. I'm telling you, out to kill you. I could just see that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't know. It scares me the way things are being handled, and I don't want to see our country go into another recession. I don't know if we can survive another recession without going into a depression.
Lord, I hope not.
Yeah, and we temporarily got all these jobs, right? But what's going to happen as soon as we start going in the recession? People are going to start laying off, right? The little 7-Elevens and all this stuff here won't need the extra 3-4 people they have working for them. So they're going to lay them off. The little deli down the street will probably go out of business because none of people can come in and afford to pay their $12 for a sandwich. I mean, let's face it. And
it's a domino effect all around.
Yeah. So besides UFOs and black-eyed children, we got a lot more things going on all at once right now.
And then with that going on distracting us, it keeps us from looking up in the skies, from being abducted, implanted, for the love of God.
No, I don't know. It's scary. And then it really scared me today that Trump signed off to allow the border, the military on the border, to use lethal force if they have to.
Oh, my.
That scares me because, you know what? It's been saying lately a lot of this whole sending the military to the border was done, right before the elections to try to help.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This is
I don't either. That's scary thoughts, though.
I don't know. I thought, us as the United States, we had a lot of compassion. To people.
I know.
I mean, let's face it. Some of these people coming over, in this caravan are very, very bad people. Okay?
Yeah.
Some of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them are tired of maybe the country they were in being...
it's the law of the average, the law of numbers. You know that all 700 of them aren't singing Kumbaya.
No, but it scares me that there's going to be a certain numbers of people who are trying to get away from being tortured,
and
starving.
put the wrong category right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And then we kind of like turn our backs. I always thought the United States was, we're a land of opportunity where people from Ireland even could come here into our country. I'm sorry, I was joking about that one, folks, but I was using that as an example. I mean, where we open up our arms and, accept them, and it's scary what's all going on. I mean, it's daily on the news. It's like a 3-ring circus going on.
Yeah, and then even the news, you don't know. Yeah, it's some scary stuff, no doubt.
Okay, I got an answer. Aliens, if you're listening to my show, okay, what if you want to do some abductions and doing implants or brain removals? I'm sorry, if you do the brain removals, you're not going to find much. But that is go over to Washington, D.C., and go over any of the government buildings and zap them up.
Yeah, zap them up.
Well, I mean, why not? If you're if you want to abduct people and find out what's going on in the country, go ahead. Go where the leaders are. Maybe it's about time we can then figure out how to run our own country. Let's clean them out. Let them serve
tweak
the
their
aliens.
DNA a little bit. Let them tweak their DNA a little bit.
Yeah, send them back to Earth with different thoughts.
Yeah, some empathy thoughts.
Well,
that they don't even know. Oh, that's even more scary.
Or on the other case, people who are government people in Washington, D.C. have already been abducted by not the Greys, but by whoever. And this is what we have left after they were abducted. And their genes were all spliced with aliens and all this stuff. This is what we have in Washington, D.C. running our government.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and who knows how many of them are what they call the reptilians. Oh, jeez.
Probably 3/4 of them. If they took their pants off, they would have a tail.
That could be one way we could use to identify them.
Yeah, except for Trump. He would have a 3-inch tail.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. I do like Trump. I really do. I really... admire how he got around this long and acquired his wealth and how he thinks of people in general.
Yeah, I'd love to have like 10% of his wealth.
Well, I can tell you what you do. You start a business, right? And you contract your business you know, have people come out and work for you or, you know, do some remodeling, you know, and when they're done, you